So the markets did well for the day, but what about the long-term implications of these tensions? Well, let's talk about that now with Sina Azodi, Foreign Policy Advisor at Gulf State Analytics. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So given Iran's response to the U.S. attack and the U.S. then announcing new sanctions versus military action, what should we be watching for from markets?
Well, one thing is for certain that the president's address to the nation have stabilized the markets. As we saw, the prices of oil went up last night. Then after the president's address, they went down. The stocks are doing good, and the president actually addressed it, that the stocks are doing much better. And for the president in the election year, a president that have actually taken pride in stocks market, it would be bad. So I think at the moment we all should be happy that we dodged the bullet, and there won't be, for now, we know that there won't be any military confrontation between the two countries.
And so a lot of people were wondering in terms of the disruption, especially for the oil market, given the strategic importance of the Strait of Hormuz. Is that something that we should not be paying attention to? Because there are obviously these new sanctions coming into play.
Oh, we should be. And Iranians have said it many times that we are going to close the Strait of Hormuz, and they have the ability to close it down. But we must also understand that the United States has also the ability to open the Strait of Hormuz. And even if Iran manages to do so, it will going to hurt its own interests in the long run, because countries such as China, India, and Japan that are buying Iranian oil, they will be hurt too. So we should hope that it won't get to that point that Iran decides to close the Strait of Hormuz.
Now, obviously, with these tensions rising, even though they do appear to be at a standstill, has the situation, though, essentially shut the door when it comes to the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal?
Iranians have been under pressure domestically to do something about the JCPOA, because after the President Trump withdrew from the deal, Iranians waited for a year. They gave the Europe plenty of time, a year, to do something to mitigate the impact of sanctions, but Europe has been basically unable to do something to circumvent the U.S. sanctions. And obviously, as I said, Iran is under the pressure. So we would have to wait and see what Iranians are doing. But in the last step that they took, they've announced that they will not be committed to any technical limitations. And what this means is really decided in Tehran how much they're going to enrich. In the past, they've enriched up to 20%, how many centrifuges they're going to run, and what type of centrifuge machines are going to run. These are all the variables that we have to see how Iranians are going to do. But JCPOA still is alive, but in my opinion, it's rather just in the name.
So then what does that mean in terms of global economic implications if this does essentially fall apart?
It would be bad, because if Iranians decide that enough is enough and we're going to abandon the JCPOA, and the Israelis they advance for some sort of a nuclear capability, and the Israelis decide that we have to take action, I mean, this is just a scenario that nobody wants to see. So yeah.
And what about the Iranian people themselves and the companies there that are already dealing with U.S. sanctions? What do these developments mean for them?
For the Iranian people?
Yes.
Basically, the Iranians are stuck between a repressive government and U.S. sanctions on the country. I mean, the inflation is extremely high in the country. Unemployment is extremely high, and people are really suffering. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're talking to a rich Iranian or a middle-class Iranian. Everybody's complaining that the prices have gone up, and the middle class is really being squeezed there between the sanctions and the government.
And we've also seen that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has warned U.S. businesses about ransomware attacks and other cyber attacks that may come out of Iran. How realistic is this concern for U.S. firms?
It is realistic, because it's one of the ways that Iran would fight its war, because it would give Iran the ability to hide its hand. And last time, let me put it this way. When the United States launched Operation Olympic Games, where it targeted Iran's nuclear facilities, Iranians learned the benefits of launching cyber attacks. And they've enhanced their own capabilities. And last time, after the assassination of General Soleimani, Iranians launched their own cyber attack, hijacking a federal government website, posting pro-Qasem Soleimani messages. So Iranians have learned that this is beneficial, and they've shown that they can use it, and they will use it.
Certainly a moving situation we'll all keep an eye on. Thank you so much
Thank you for having me.
for your insights there. Sina Azodi, Foreign Policy Advisor at Gulf State Analytics.